Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do a little bit of a different video, but it's one that I think a lot of people will benefit from. Maybe not all of my subscribers, but I think that it's something that people are going to search for quite a bit on YouTube. I know that I searched for it before I learned how to do it, and that is how to shave your cat. I know, and this is Oliver here. Anybody who's wondering, anyone who's new here, this is Oliver. I know some people think that shaving your cat is abusive. I promise you it's not. Your cat isn't going to get hurt in this if you use the correct equipment. So I'm getting like cat hair in my mouth. The way I look at it is that if somehow you end up with a long-haired cat, whether you buy one because you think they're beautiful and then you get them and you realize that their coat is a lot of work, or you just happen to end up with one like I did with Oliver, which I can leave his adoption story down below. He was an abuse case, and when I found him, there was no way I wasn't going to keep him. But I never had intentions of having a long-haired cat. And if you'll see pictures in the adoption story, and he was covered in oil and grease, and he was a matted mess, and he had to be shaved down at the veterinary clinic. He had to be. And shortly after that, I started an apprenticeship as a groomer, and I wanted to learn how to shave cats, and so I brought him in when he was a few months older, and he was my guinea pig to learn how to shave on. And so I've just, in the warmer months, decided to keep him shaved, or when he starts hacking up a lot of hairballs, because that is something that happens quite a bit with having a medium to long-haired cat, is you're going to get hairballs, which I don't like cleaning up. So keeping him in a shorter coat definitely helps with that. And I don't know if you guys can see just from me petting him, but we've got like all these little hairs floating that are just coming right off of him. So keeping him shaved helps keep down the hairballs. It helps keep down with the shedding. It helps my husband. He has mild allergies to cats. They're really not that bad. So we are able to have cats, but keeping him in a shorter coat helps with that as well. There's just a lot of benefits to having a shorter haired cat. If you somehow end up with a long to medium haired cat, and you want to keep your cat, but you don't want to keep the coat, you can definitely shave it off. It is not abusive to your animal. They're not going to get hurt at all. If they're an inside-outside cat and you live in a cold climate, you might reconsider doing the shave, because obviously having a longer, thicker coat is going to help them keep warm. But if they're an inside cat like Oliver is, he does not go outside, he's an inside cat, I find that keeping him in a short coat is fine. I shave him 2 to 3 times a year, roughly. Like I said, it's when it's warm outside, I will keep him shaved, or when he starts hacking up a lot of hairballs, which is getting to be about 65 degrees outside, and he's hacking up a lot of hairballs. Another reason people may shave a long-haired cat is that when they get older, they start having a lot of problems cleaning themselves, so that can cause a lot of matting in the fur, and that can lead to a lot of problems. You get that tight mat in the fur that can lead to sore spots on the skin, and it can even lead to your cat's skin ripping, which when you have your cat skin rip, it's not like when your skin cuts and it can just stay that length. A cat gets a cut in their skin and it can continue to rip open, and so you definitely don't want your cat developing any kind of mat, so shaving them can go a long way to help with that. So there's a lot of benefits to shaving your cat. It is not abusive to your animal at all. They might look a little bit goofy. Personally, I like the way that he looks. It just depends on what kind of groom you come up with and what kind of cut you do, but keep in mind it's fur. It will grow back, so if you try it and you don't like it, it'll grow back. Something to keep in mind if you do choose to take your cat to a groomer, it's, at least around here, it's very likely that they will tell you that it's going to be about $50, and if they can't complete the groom, they won't. So you might end up with a cat who has like a shave spot, but if your cat puts up a fight and won't let them do it, they will call you to come pick your animal up, and they're just going to have a big shaved spot in their coat. So keep that in mind. It is a possibility, but it's a lot better to call off the groom than it is to force an animal to go through with it when they don't want it, especially an animal with claws and teeth. You don't want to get scratched or bit by a cat. It's not good. The only bad thing that can happen, the reason that I'm doing this intro with him in a long coat, is that with cats and with some dogs, I believe if it's a double coated animal, I could be wrong on that, it's that it can damage their coat. The damage is, I'm trying to think of the right word. It's, it all has to do with looks. It's not really damaging the coat. It's all an aesthetic. So I thought I'd show that to you with Oliver. What can happen is certain parts of the coat can come back coarser, and they can come back a slightly different color. So you obviously can't reach out and touch Oliver. I'm going to see how well he will cooperate for me to show you guys. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this, but this darker orange patch right here, that's come back on him from being shaved. So that's what you would consider a damaged coat. So you can see it's only in one spot. He's not liking this. It's only on one spot on his coat. It's not all over. And that part of his fur is a little bit coarser. So that's the kind of damage that can happen. It's not hurting your pet. It's just an aesthetic. Personally, I don't think it's something that people look at my cat and they say, you know, oh, I noticed you have a darker orange spot on your cat. I mean, it's possible that people are going to notice it, but he's not a show cat. I don't have him to be a show cat. And the way I look at it, if you want to shave your cat, shave your cat. It's better for your animal to have a home and to have no fur than it is to be put into an animal shelter because you can't deal with the maintenance that comes with having a long-haired cat. So let's head on down to the basement and we'll get started. Okay, some things you're going to need before you start grooming your cat. Make sure you have it all set up. I do have a grooming table because I am a trained groomer. I used to work at grooming salons. If you don't have one of these, you can use your kitchen table. You can lay out a towel to put your cat on. I know some people are going to think that's gross. So that's fine if that's not something you're comfortable with. The other option you have is you can do it on top of like your washer or your dryer. If you just have some kind of a tall surface that you can, you know, handle your cat on. You may also need an assistant, especially if it's your first time grooming your cat. It'd be a great idea to have a family member available just to help out. Oliver, I've been shaving him since he was a kitten, so he kind of knows the drill. He normally behaves really well for me. Every now and then I will have to have my husband come down and help with certain areas that he's just not feeling like having done. Something else worth noting is that if you start grooming your cat and they start fighting you, it's okay to let them have a break. Let them go. We do that in the grooming salon a lot. We don't let them go. We'll put them back in their crate. But being at your house, you can let them go, let them have a few hours off, and bring them back down and start it again. You're going to have to table train them is what we call it when we start grooming puppies. Same thing with cats. You're going to have to table train them. They have to figure out what's going on, that all of these loud sounds and objects around them they're not used to isn't going to hurt them any. I have had cats in the past who just like lay on the table and try to sleep and they just purr the whole time. They're totally used to it and they don't care. Other ones don't love it and you need assistance. So let's talk about equipment you will need. I personally use the Andes AGC. It has two settings. Well, it has an on and off button pretty much. But that's what I use personally because I do have professional equipment. But you can get a grooming shear set at Walmart for about 20 bucks, which works perfectly well if you're just a pet owner and you have a cat or a dog you want to shave. I believe they come with a number 10 blade on them. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's a 10 blade, which will work perfectly well, which is what I'm going to use. I'm using my Buttercut size 10. It does a 1.6 mil. I'm pretty sure that's what I'm going to use. I get these mixed up all the time. I also have a 10 Ultra Edge, and I can't remember which one I like and which one I don't. So I'm probably going to use the number 10 Buttercut. We're going to try that one out first and see if that's the one I like or not. So that's what I'm going to use, and it's important to use a number 10 because, as I mentioned earlier, when your cat gets a cut on them, it's one of those things that can continue to rip open before you can get them to the vet. If something does happen and your cat does get a cut, you can use a little bit of super glue on your cat to hold the wound closed. It's what I've been told by several groomers that I've worked with, and get them immediately to the veterinarian. So just throwing that out there. But you're going to need your clippers. Again, you can get some from Walmart for like 20 bucks. I may do a whole separate video. I think I'll do a separate video on nail clippings, but this is just a pair of pet nail clippers that I actually picked up at the Dollar Tree, and I really like them. They're really sharp. They do an excellent job. I love them on cats. I love them on small dogs. So if you're looking for a good nail clipper, go pick that up. And then I'm also going to use my rounded scissors, which you can just use a pair of kitchen scissors if you're just doing this from your house and you don't want to like go invest in grooming supplies. You don't have to. You can just get a good pair of kitchen scissors. And then I also have a pair of thinning shears. And you can actually pick some of these up at the Dollar Tree. I've never personally used them, so I don't know how good they are. Be extremely careful on your cat with thinning shears. Again, you don't want to clip your cat. But if you do want to use the clipping shears, you can go pick those up really easy at the Dollar Tree. And then just a pet comb, which really any comb like this, it's going to work. You can get a pack of combs at the Dollar Tree and just pick out whichever one you like. I may or may not even use this. So I'm going to go get Oliver and bring him down here and we can get started. Okay, we've got Oliver down here and he's like, not happening. So you want to make sure you take your cat's collar off. You don't want to have that on them when you're grooming them for obvious reasons. I think it's obvious reasons. I personally like to take my clippers and put them around my back. They're all just a tangled mess. And then Oliver doesn't seem like he's feeling it today, so I may have to scruff him, which for a lot of people when you're first time grooming your cat, you will probably have to scruff them as well. Again, if you need assistance, need someone to come help you with your cat, just scruffing them or talking to them and petting them, you can definitely do that. So before I officially get started, we're just going to talk about what we're going to do. We're just going to shave his body and his belly. I don't shave legs. And I don't shave the tail, and I don't shave the face. We're just going to blend the face in to match with the neck, and that's it. So what I like to think about when I'm grooming my animal is think about mowing a lawn. You want to keep your line straight, and when you come back down after mowing your first strip, you kind of double up on the strip you just mowed just to keep everything in line. So that's kind of what we're going to do. So I'm just going to take Oliver up here, and I'm going to scruff him. I know it doesn't look nice, but it's not hurting him any, and it lets me be more in control of him. So let me see if I can do this so you guys can see what I'm doing. So we're just going to get in there and just shave him straight on down. And I just let the clippers do the work for me. And I'm going to switch out to my other ones. I'm not liking the butter cut. There we go. So this is the number 10 Ultra Edge 1.5 mil from Andy's. So if you have professional clippers, that's what I'm going to be using for shaving Oliver. I had the wrong one on. And we're just going to get in here and shave him down. And again, like I've said, he's not a show cat. Like, he is a house pet. Like, I'm not worried about him looking beautiful. I just want him to be comfortable, and I want to have less pet hair to deal with. And we're just going to shave him right on down. It's really just that easy. Some cats are going to let you do it really easy. Again, he's been being shaved since he was a kitten. Other cats aren't going to appreciate it very well. But again, there's no harm in letting your pet have a break. You know, do a little bit and then let him run off and come back to it. You know, they're your pet. They're not a show animal. I mean, they might be. So before I get too far into this, I want to talk about blades getting too hot, which can happen even if you get the ones from Walmart. Your blades may get too hot. So you want to keep an eye on that and make sure they don't get too warm. Something you can do is touch it to your cheek. That's what I do a lot of times. If it's too hot for your face, it's too hot for them. And you take your blades off and let them cool, which may incorporate them getting a little bit of a break. So, I mean, as you can see, it's not like a perfect cut. I will go back and clean him up a little bit more. He's got some choppy spots on him, but it's really not that difficult. And again, if you're just a regular person grooming your cat for the first time, you don't got to worry about it being perfect. You'll get better with practice. Don't expect your first groom to be the best groom ever. And also something to keep in mind with cat fur is that cats have the kind of fur that's really kind of hard to do. because it just holds all the lines in. So it's a very difficult animal to groom to begin with. Not just because it's a cat, but just because the coat they have. Their coat is very unforgiving. Whereas if you're doing an animal like a poodle or a Bichon Frise, their coats are more forgiving to any mistakes. So I'm going to see if you guys can see that the orange line any better on him now that he's shaved a little bit. I'm not sure how well you guys can see that right through here. It's just a darker orange, and that's just how his fur grows back since being shaved. He doesn't stay light orange all over. Put him back in a scruff. Right here, he's like putting his haunches back, so it's making it really kind of hard to get in there to shave him. So that happens. And it's also okay to pull the skin where you need to pull it. If you need to make light adjustments, you can kind of pull their skin a little bit tight. Don't do it hard enough to hurt them, obviously. But if you just need to pull them kind of tight, you can do that. And that'll be okay. He's kind of over it. Come here, buddy. So I'm going to scruff him and show you guys how to shave the underbelly. So he does really good in a scruff. Some animals, some cats don't, and you're going to have assistance. He goes super limp, so it makes life a lot easier. And then you just get in there and shave everything off. And again, not pushing super hard. Let your clippers do the work for you. He's actually purring. I don't know that you guys can hear that, but he's purring for me. And I like to take him down just to the elbow right here. I just like the way it looks personally. And just so you know, I know he's got a lot of fur here, but he is standing on his back legs. I have him in a scruff, but he is standing on his back legs. So it's kind of like when your dog stands up on their back legs. Same deal. So to get around here with his head, I'm going to hold him right under the neck here. I don't know how you guys can see that, but I got him right under the neck, and I've got my thumb right on top of his head, kind of marking off where I want to not shave him. I don't want to go up past my thumb. And we're just going to take all that off. Pulling his skin tight. I know that looks bad because I'm forcing him to put his head down, but I'm not hurting him. He is over it. So I'm going to go put him in the spare room, give him a little bit of a break, and we'll come back in a little bit. Okay, we're back down here. Blades are cooled down. Get back to it. Oliver had a little bit of a break. Moving that around. He looks super choppy. So I'm going to scruff him and stand him back up and finish off his belly. So when it comes down to in between the legs, you can see he's taking his tail and he's trying to cover up his genitals. That's just something a lot of animals do. They try to use certain body parts to cover up others. So I'm just going to move that out of the way. Hopefully he'll let me get in here and take care of his privates. Leaning back down a little bit. Okay, down around this area is where it's probably going to be most difficult for most people. The belly can be hard too. So I'm just going to take my hand under his belly as such, so I have control, and we're just going to take his tail and pull it over to the side, which he's not happy about. Pulling that up, and we're just going to whoop, shave his little bum hole. Whoop, whoop, whoop. There we go, buddy. Good job. I know. I know. So as you can see, he's kind of fighting me a little bit. I just got to get him back into a scruff and face him this way, which is how I need him. If I can get him off my clippers, get him off the cord. So just trying to get all the extra hair off the table. I may have to finish him tonight when my husband gets home because he's not feeling it. Okay, so we're going to come up here and work on his face a little bit. I'm going to take the thinning shears, and right back here, I'm just going to work on getting that to blend in with the rest of his coat where it gets shorter. And that's all you're going to do is take them and just gently snip along back here, and it'll just kind of blend everything together. So if you can pull it up a little bit, you can see he's got a few tufts right here, and we're just going to work on thinning those out and making them all blend. I know I've got my finger on his nose right now, just kind of keeping him secure, but my finger is not covering his nostrils, so he can still breathe. Okay, I want to keep that in mind. He's not being hurt any. So I'm going to take my rounded scissors. You want to be careful that you don't get any whiskers. And I'm just going to round his fur out on his face. And you can do this with kitchen shears. It's just going to be a little bit more difficult, but it's definitely doable. I just want to get all this extra fluff that doesn't quite match. He's over it. He's like, Mom, I am done. Let me go. And as I mentioned, it is okay to give your animals breaks when you're grooming them, but when you know they can handle more, I mean, it's okay to push it a little bit. He's not like super fighting me, so I'm just going to keep working where I can. Sometimes you got to switch it up. Like, he was really just over it with the blades, so we switched to the face. So that's just something to keep in mind. Sometimes you got to switch it up. So this is how he's looking so far. You can see his face kind of. I don't know how well he's gonna let you see it. We kind of trimmed down his sides. I need to shave under his neck up a little bit here. Most of his body is done. He's a little bit choppy. I have found that after a few days after being groomed, the cats start to look a little bit better, I guess. They don't always look great immediately after a shave. But that's kind of what his body is looking like. He's got a few choppy spots, but I'm not too worried about it. Again, he's a house pet. He's not a show cat, so not too worried about it. I need to do his other leg, and I may wait till my husband gets home. I like to take the leg down to about here if he will let me. Since we did it on this side, we got to do it on the other side. And then this is his underbelly. That's what that's looking like. I'd like to take in a little more of the fur here on the inside of the thighs. But that's kind of what we end up with when we shave cats. Well, it's a shaved cat. Okay, I went over him a little bit more, cleaned up a few other areas that I didn't really need to film because I'm just going back over and cleaning spots up, which is something you can do after you've mostly had them done. If you see little areas need to be gone over again, feel free to go over them again. So back here on his back legs, they're a bit long, so I'm taking the thinning shears. Be careful not to snip your cat's skin, but I'm just coming in here and thinning out and shortening. I'm going to make sure I didn't get cut there. Thinning out and shortening the fur back here. Just fine with the other leg. He's starting to swish his tail, so he's starting to get a little agitated. I don't know if you guys can hear it or not, but there's a lot of sirens going on, so I think they're kind of stressing him. A lot of fire truck sirens. But we're just going through here and kind of thinning things out a little bit. Got a little bit of a mat right there. He should be able to take care of that on his own for the most part. He's a young enough cat that if he gets small mats and stuff, he can go through and clean it. He's only, I think, 2.5, 3 years old. So this is, I'm going to let him go because he is over it. So I just want to give you guys a bit of a look of how he turned out. This is him fully shaved. Again, I think that after a day or two of being shaved, the coat starts to grow back, maybe within a week, and I think things start to look a little bit better. We got his face rounded out a little bit. We got his body shaved down. I don't know if he'll stand for you. You can see his legs. And that's just where I take him to on the legs. It's just what I do. You can work on rounding these out a little bit, but like I said, he's just kind of over it, so I might try to go back over him a little bit more a little bit later on. But hopefully that gives you guys a little bit of an idea of how to shave your cat. Huh, buddy? You feel a little better? So while we're down here and I'm torturing him, I'm going to go ahead and spray him down with a little bit of the Hertz Ultra Guard Plus Flea and Tick Spray for cats. Make sure that any flea or tick medication you use for your cat is for your cat. Your cat can actually have seizures and tremors that almost look like they have Parkinson's disease. It can be really, really bad. You have to take your cat immediately to the vet. We found that out the hard way with Banjo the first year we had him. Well, second year that we had him. I didn't realize that you had to use flea meds for cats on cats. Like, I just thought flea meds were flea meds, and that was just had to do with marketing. But no, it is imperative that when you use flea medicine on your cat, that you use flea meds that are for cats. So I really like this kind. I think it works really well. It kills fleas, ticks, and flea eggs. He's an inside cat, so I don't get too worked up on using like drops or flea collars. But just on the off chance something was to get in the house, I like to have both of my cats treated. And since it's getting on to warmer weather, it's time to start treating them. I do stop treating my animals once it starts snowing and freezing outside. I don't feel like it's good to constantly be using flea and tick medication on them. But when it starts warming up, you have to use it. You do have to protect your animals. So I'm going to scruff him because he's not a fan of being sprayed. And then I'm just going to spray his back real good. And then kind of rub it in. I think it smells good. It has aloe in it, so it's supposed to be soothing to the skin. But, I mean, he's a cat, so he doesn't really appreciate being sprayed with anything. So I just like to spray him down real good. And let him go. Hey, pretty boy. Oliver. Says, leave me alone. We are done for the day. I just kind of wanted to zoom in a little bit and show you what he looks like once he's done. don't think he looks too bad. Again, I think that after cats get shaved, I think they look best a week or so after. But that's what he looks like. Hey, buddy. Are you over it? Do you want some treats? Let me get you some treats. Okay, I'm not sure if this is an any better shot, but Oliver. Kind of hard to see. Well, I'm sorry I couldn't get any better shots of him shaved. He's just not feeling it. If you guys want to see better... Sorry, my hair is like bugging me. If you guys want to see any better pictures, you can go check out my Instagram. I'm sure I'll be posting some before long, so link for that is down below. Before we finish things up, I just want to caution you to wear something that you're okay getting covered in cat hair. And it is one of those things that your clothes might need to go through the wash a couple of times, and I highly recommend washing them by themselves with nothing else, because cat hair will just stick to everything that's in the washer with it. But as you can see, I am completely covered in cat hair. My legs are covered in cat hair. It just sticks into your clothing. It will come out in the wash, but it is kind of hard to get out. So make sure you wear something you're okay getting covered in cat hair. So the total groom took me about an hour and a half, I would say, if that includes the little break that he got. Not a bad time, I don't think, especially for it being a cat. Again, if you're doing this for the very first time, it's okay to give your animal breaks. They're going to have to learn what's going on. They may not, like, let you do what Oliver lets me do, and that's totally okay. You just have to be patient with them and work with them. Remember that you can definitely bring someone else in to help you. That makes things a lot easier if you have someone else to scruff your cat. Sometimes they don't even have to be scruffed, just someone else to like pet their face and make them feel a little more secure while you work on their body can make a world of difference. But you can do it by yourself, as you see, and I did it myself. If you have someone to help you, it makes things a lot better, and you typically get a better groom out of it. But not everyone's going to have someone to assist you, so I wanted to go ahead and make this video show you how to do it by yourself. It's definitely doable. But that's how you groom a cat. So I hope that you found this video informative and helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below. I will film a video on how to clip your cat's claws. It is much more humane to get good cat scratchers and clip your cat's claws than it is to declaw them. But we can get all into that in a different video if you have any questions. That video will be going up probably a week after this one, but I'll leave a link to it down below once it gets launched. Again, I hope you guys found this useful or helpful. I hope you have an awesome day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.